Yeah.
Okay. It's
I'm sorry, yo. The music's
it's
wonderful,
fine.
man.
No, it's such a banger. But guys, you're watching the Big Pop 30 podcast. Usually, this is for wrestling. We talk about wrestling. We do wrestling predictions and blah blah blah. But X-Men '97 was just so damn good that we have to talk about it. And I got two of my boys. Uh, we got Crazy Joe on one side, right there. We got Apathy. And guys, I want to say thank you for joining me, and I can't wait to talk about X-Men. So this is your guys' first time, and hopefully not the last. Hope to do some more stuff with it. So guys, how are you on this evening, on this Saturday?
Feeling great, man. Can't wait to talk about this. Been waiting to talk about this for like almost every episode, It's been great. So yeah, I'm ready to get into it.
I
You
feel
know,
wonderful. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for allowing me to join.
it was just your idea actually, Maurice. We have a group chat and we were chatting, and you was like, we should be talking about this. And the series just ended this Wednesday, and we're gonna get a season two. So X-Men '97. I know it's supposed to be a follow up from the original, but this is like season two, right? This is like season 5 or 6. I don't know how many seasons was there in the
Oh
original.
no, well, it's a continuation. So I think if the original had like 5 seasons, you could count this as season 6. But it could be its own thing in a way. But it's definitely a continuation from X-Men at '97. So it can't say a season 6 because it's like
Right.
it has its own title. But yeah.
That makes
It-
sense. So real quick, we're gonna talk about we're gonna just freelance here. So, what did
Yeah.
you guys
Hmm.
think about this season? I'm gonna give you the floor first, Crazy Joe. What did you think about this season? You had the opportunity to watch this all yesterday, right?
Yeah,
Like
yes,
all the
I
episodes?
had the opportunity, yes. And to me, honestly, I really love 97. The graphic, the whole storyline, the whole, the character placement, everything. It's just wonderful. It's just mwah. You know, that's just how I feel about it. Especially when it's just started off with like episode one. It was like, when people heard the news that Xavier died. I was like, oh no, Uncle Charles. I miss my Uncle Charles. But other than yes, I felt sad. But Magneto came and he decided to work with X-Men and basically, going to live his friend's dream of just making sure that mutants, they come together with the humans and you know it's just beautiful so far. That's just how I feel. It's so
What about
touching.
you, Apathy?
Yeah, I'd say with this series, like I was discussing it a few times with a few other people, like this series is definitely meant for those that grew up since the 90s. I grew up watching it with the original series that came out in 92 because you feel it, you see it, you hear it in the dialogue and the messages that's being said. Like, you know, if there's certain dialogue, like they don't even have to swear to know that it's for
Understood.
adults. They don't even
Yeah.
have to swear like that, but it's just the dialogue, the message that they always said. I feel like that if they were like certain lines that Magneto says, if they were said back then, and me and my pea brain sized mind of 5 years old was watching it, I wouldn't understand it. I wouldn't get it, go right over my head. But these are like compelling messages, some great one-liners, bars that was being said.
Totally.
And yeah, it's
I
definitely
agree.
meant for those that grew up with it. I feel like as though as long as you're very, very, very familiar with X-Men, you wouldn't have to necessarily watch all of um the original series back in 92. Though it is good, you get a good refresher.
Yeah.
If you've at least seen a couple of episodes here and there in your time, then you pretty much know what's up with this series.
I gotta say,
Yeah.
I think you said a lot of great things there because I didn't watch the original series. I might have watched maybe a handful of episodes, but nothing where like I felt like and I feel like you just said this too. X-Men 97 was a treat for those who were just fans and from the
Mm-hmm.
previous season. So you was rewarded by a lot of things. And you did mention some one-liners. I mean, I don't mean to jump the gun right here to episode 9, but I appreciate the online stuff that was able to help me where when Wolverine stabs Magneto, he says, what is the hero's diary? I forgot what the catchphrase was, but it was a callback to what Magneto said, I guess, in the very last episode. And then also, too, so if this was on Fox, certain things wouldn't be able to do. So when you see blood and you hear them saying "damn," and they didn't have to do all that stuff. They didn't have to do all that stuff. I don't even feel like they overdid that. But there was things where I was like, wow, they did that. Like when I feel like this was the episode that made it where Apathy was like, we need to talk about this. Episode 5,
the best
episode
one.
5. Yes, I mean that one's going for an award, I believe.
Yeah, I think I've seen that somewhere. They want to nominate that into some kind of award. Yeah,
they should. They should nominate it to award.
And I know we're jumping the gun and we're missing a lot of other things, but before we get to that, I'm sorry. I do want to throw this out here. They did Cyclops justice. This was for the fans of Cyclops. There's a lot of people who are Cyclops fans before it was cool, and seeing Cyclops look badass. I mean, that first episode where he jumps off the plane and he uses beam,
take glass,
to break his fall. And one spot where he says, "Call the ambulance, but not for me." I said, "Go ahead,
I believe that liner, they pulled that liner from a show because I think there's a meme. He's like, call an ambulance, but not for me.
Pretty much that's exactly what it's from. And I think it's even for those who, like myself, I was always pretty indifferent with Cyclops. Like, oh, he's just there. He's the leader. He never, like us. I never saw him do anything more special that makes him cool other than, his laser eyes, which, from when I remember from the show, it's either hits or miss. It either hits or miss. But they try to do him justice now, and so he gains more brownie points and respect for me now. Kind of the same way, it's almost in the same light as how Captain America, the Winter Soldier, made me fully respect Captain America. Like, other than that, I roasted Captain America, trash talked him for years. Like,
he's still garbage. He's still garbage. I will
garbage.
I will never forgive him for what he did to Spider-Man and Civil War. And he thought it was so cute when he said Brooklyn. I said, get off my screen. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I loved what Rogue did where she grabbed his shield and she said, "Fetch." Loved it.
Yo, so she pulled that shit like
your favorite scene. Wow.
Yo, I love it. I love it.
And there's nothing Steve can do except stand there like Steve. He did Steve things. Stand there.
Steve things.
Sure.
Good job, Rogue. And also, too, you was mentioning we're talking about Cyclops, but let's talk about this as well. I didn't watch a lot of the original series, but one of the things I got out of the original series was Wolverine is so cool. And in this season, he really was such a back player. And I think that's refreshing, actually, because there was a period of time, I'm going to say in the mid-2000s, right, where it was Wolverine over. And look, I'm wearing Wolverine, so Wolverine's my guy. But Wolverine, to the point where you said Cyclops was the leader. I didn't know that until someone said that, and I swore, I said, stop. I wanted to say stop drinking, but they were telling the truth.
So, because he been there. Him and Jean Grey, they've been there since they've been there since day one. They was the first. They was the day ones. So hey. Because I remember Professor X said that, I had y'all since y'all was like teenagers or something like that. So, it's crazy. And Wolverine, Wolverine just do what Wolverine wants to do. He's like the Mike Tyson of the shit. Just fucking walk around like, I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Not bad. Yeah, but how do you feel about that apathy about him taking the back seat?
I think the resurgence or the reason why there was a big popularity with Wolverine in the mid 2000s is simply because of Hugh Jackman. and
Yeah.
and like, all right, like Wolverine, he was like, even in the cartoon show, he was still somewhat of a highlight. He had a good
Okay.
enough, he had a good enough screen time. He was still popular among the comics. So I guess when the movies came out, they just needed to still do him justice, give him just as much screen time, and knew he was still the popular one. And Hugh Jackman, I don't think he was an up and coming actor. He was already in a few roles, but that was his break point. And yeah, since then it just took off, more and more screen time, more and more marketing. And so, yeah, even if you were to see modern Wolverine, the whole tank top wearing Wolverine that you see some comics illustrations, that's all from Hugh Jackman's look. So yeah, him taking a backpedal in 97 now is more so is more akin to showcasing the entire team rather
Yeah.
than just on him and whatnot.
Let me add on to that. It's like I
Sure.
feel like when it comes to Hugh Jackman and like Wolverine, I feel like the connection is like right on point because Wolverine had this badass, straightforward type attitude, and it's like if you add Hugh Jackman with his acting and then the personality that he is and how he portrays like himself into Wolverine, it's like basically you get like a double entendre mixed in together to make it a even more badass Wolverine. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it just come in unison. And I feel like with Hugh Jackman, he does a wonderful job as Wolverine. And then like people they love it. People from like the 2000 era they see, and then people that's older from the older generation, they see the connection. They be like, huh, makes sense, you know?
Interesting points. Interesting points. I did want to touch on something because you were talking about showcasing the team, and I think they did a great job. I think the only person who didn't really get a lot of time. Well, no, I can't even say that because Beast did get time, but I feel like most of the time I saw Beast, he was getting his ass kicked. But
Nah, yeah, it
okay,
was,
so it's not, no, okay, it's not just
yeah,
me. Okay, because
no.
every time I saw Beast, he was like, "We have to do something." I was like, "Yeah, how about you not getting your ass kicked? That would be cool. That would be helpful." But I liked that. Someone I wasn't familiar with was Morph. Now I recently just learned that he was a part of the original series, and he had a different look. And I like the look that they did here because he's was it non-binary? So I like that
Yeah.
they had him gray skin, and it was just a different. It was different
Yeah.
because before
It was a
he was
mixture of everything. Yeah.
yeah, and I liked Wolf. He had some funny lines. I thought the stuff with him and Logan was cool. There's a spot where him and Logan tease Gambit, and we'll talk about Gambit. But he was teasing Gambit, and he was funny to me. He came off like Deadpool, not he came off like Deadpool light. And when I say light, meaning like how Deadpool is really outrageous and out there and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He was like almost oh god, I'm trying to think of the word, but he was settled, if that makes sense. Like he'll make his jokes and stuff like that, but he when stuff was serious, he was out there kicking ass, and he did it, and he was great. I mean, once again, was not familiar with this character, and I was like, oh, this character's a breath of fresh air.
There are certain people though, like being a little bit careful. Like there are certain people there that still consider it a sprinkle of wokeism because of his character, and they decided to make him non-binary and stuff like that. So
I think that. I feel like X-Men has always been above the curve.
Yeah.
They've always been, I saw some of those things. I didn't even read them. I just didn't. I didn't. I didn't think much
and
about
about
it.
his sexuality as well. If you've caught on as well.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Same thing that we talk about with Gambit and with his crop top.
Oh no, he got a pass. He
Oh,
got a
okay.
pass with the people. He got a pass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But there
Let's
was
talk about
a post I saw on Instagram a while back that they was talking about it, and then like people, some people was up in arms.
Yeah.
I know. It's the internet. The internet, they get mad about it, everything. If you left your window
Yeah.
open, if you leave your window open at night, they'll be like, they'll find a reason to complain about that. So I don't
Yeah.
even pay any attention. But I
Goddamn
do want to talk
haters.
about Gambit though. Gambit, who Okay,
Rest in peace, Gambit.
real quick. I just thought it was very important that I said this.
Yes.
There was 10 episodes of this show. I never skipped the intro. Never, not
Yes.
once. And
He's
if you did that, you're terrible.
Shame on you. Shame
But
on you, folks that skip.
I do sit here and say, and I thought the intros were pretty cool because when something happened, we didn't even get to talk about this. Jean Grey, and what was her doppelganger name? Madam.
Madeline Pryor.
Yeah, madam. That was Phoenix. Yeah, Phoenix.
But I thought this was cool. So what was it? Episode 2, where it was all revealed or something like that. So I think by 3 or 4, I forget which one. But if you look at the and as much as I listen to people on the internet, when you find the intelligent people, I listen to them. But they shared something talking about how in episode 3 she had her hair out, but you knew it was Jean because she had her hair in a ponytail. And I just thought stuff like that was really good detail and very, very cool. So I wanted to touch on that real quick and talk about the intro, but I wanted to Gambit. Gambit was just so freaking cool. Just so
cool. He was cool.
He's probably always been like a really cool character. But this season really made me, and one of the things I loved about his character, in that episode that we're going to talk about, episode 5, and he's, there's this tease between him and Rogue, right? Like they kind of like each other, but there's almost like no, like stop that. They're playing around, they're playing games. Stop it. But in this episode where she's like, I can't touch you, I can't feel you, and he's like, Madam, but there's other ways of feeling. And I was like, yo, take me out to dinner, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he loved this woman so much that, like he said, we can find a way. I just want to be with you, and I love that for him. But she wanted, but she's like, I can't feel you. But Magneto, let's talk about this guy. I didn't know this guy was. Look at this painting that he does, right? I didn't realize I didn't realize how much of an artist he was. Fantastic.
Paint me like you're French women.
Show that again. That was beautiful. Show that again. That was beautiful. Show that again. That was beautiful.
But he's like they're making their moves and stuff, and you can see this is bothering Gambit. I mean, there's one episode. We didn't even talk about this one. We didn't talk about Storm. There's so much to really digest in here, man. But
Storm,
Storm. Because I feel like that's something we should talk about too. But Gambit, when he's you can see this stuff is bothering him. There's this episode where he's Magneto makes coffee, and he says, "Since you're taking orders, I'll take 2 sugars." He said, "Well, luckily I'm giving orders." I said, "Okay, Magneto." I said, "Okay, Eric." And you can tell that what's my man's name? Gambit could do is hold his coffee like this, just angry. All you do is just
so much pettiness. I was questioning like how, like, he has the ability to touch Rogue, and it's because of his magnetism. And I almost went into Googling into like the science behind magnetism and what it can do with the skin, and that you still like you feel them, but you don't get the effects of Rogue. Like I know Rogue's powers is not part of science, but it's like, what does magnetism got to do with the skin that makes it immune?
I feel like opposites attract, and I believe that he has the power to make it like the same wavelength or like opposite wavelength or whatever power Rogue have to be like anti-touch. So it's like he probably could hold. I'm just guessing. He probably could hold Rogue's hand, but don't have her powers inflict on him. So it's like, he'd probably be able to touch her. You know what I'm saying? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm just guessing.
No, I don't have no clear answer either. The only thing I got is plot. That's really what I got. Plot. It's plot. Because I hear what you're saying, because you're like, wait, what does that have to do with anything? I hear you loud and clear. But this scene, I want to talk about this episode because this was the episode. So let me tell a quick story, if you guys don't mind. I was at work, and I usually catch X-Men early in the day, but I just for that day I was late, and I remember I sent a tweet, and I said, oh boy, a new episode of X-Men, can't wait. And everyone said, a few people sent me a message like, brace yourself. One person sent me a gift of tissue, a box of tissues. I said, what happened? So I download this episode and I watch it. And you see Gambit go out like the G that he is. He gets stabbed. And he says, the name's Gambit. Remember.
Oh yeah, he got
and
impaled on his side.
And then this explosion happens. I mean, Genosha just looks like hell. And then you see Rogue holding Gambit and says, I can't feel you. I'll have you guys know, I was on the E train and I started crying and I said, never again will I watch this show on my travels because you're not supposed to cry. You're not supposed to cry on the E train. And I caught myself crying. What is this liquid coming down my eyes? Damn it, Marvel.
You know, I swear to you, it's a challenge. I like, no matter how many times I've watched that certain scene at the end and certain reactors that react to it on YouTube and whatnot. You know that meme where you see someone, they look at yourself in the mirror. It's like, you are a grown man. You will do this. You can do this. You watch it, and no matter what, there's always something in the eye. Like when she says that and whatnot, and it looks like the death of Superman pose as well, where she's holding him, the way she's holding him.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, like Gambit.
Why that picture look like Yamcha? Why that picture right there remind me of like the Yamcha?
Don't.
Yeah, don't do that.
Hey, look, I'm just saying. I'm not, downing on nobody. I'm just saying.
I'll let you know. I have the volume up, and all I'm hearing is a whole lot of nothing.
But yeah, Gambit, he gained a lot of respect. Like I know a lot of people who Gambit was their favorite character, you know. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't think I necessarily saw him as a favorite character of mine, even way back in the day. I always had a hard time believing he was human, even back in the day, because of like what he wore with the his inside of his jacket was like a pink muscle vest shirt thing, and his eyes was not white. So I just thought, what is he? He doesn't even look remotely human. Like I was always scared of him.
And he's from the South. He's from the South, from the bayou. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, he's he gained. If there's any one hero to go out in the bossest way possible, in the way that episode, like from start to finish, that whole episode, drama with I guess a situationship that's going on, Jean Grey and Wolverine and Cyclops in the whole beginning, and stuff, and Magneto and Rogue dancing right in front of Gambit.
Let's
go. They were just doing the tango or whatever two-step dance that they was doing. In the air too. I'm like, damn, son.
And not for nothing, when I was seeing that, it kind of made me go, because it's on Disney Plus. I was like, this is so Disney. Like, if they could go back in time and have Cinderella dancing in the sky, they would have done that. That's what made me think.
I believe they could pull it off.
And we're breaking down a lot of these things. And speaking of gross, let's talk about Charles Xavier, because I think he's just as gross. I feel like a lot of these people were gross. The only person I was kind of like not really grossed out was Magneto. I mean, in this episode too, when you see Genosha getting blown up and everything like that, trying to save this one mutant. And I was talking, we were supposed to have Jean-Baptiste. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, but I was chatting with him the other day and we were talking about it. And I was telling him about when we were chatting, I was like, when Magneto's interesting to me because, I mean, he was never displayed as the bad guy back in the day, but, usually with comics, you have one good guy, one bad guy, right? And they're always going against Magneto. And obviously, when I got older, when I got older and it was explained to me, what they're based off, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, right? And Magneto, as time went on, I was like, okay, I see it now. Because Magneto he never really, like a lot of times Magneto just want to be left alone and people bother him. And he's like, okay, I'm going to and
antagonize
Genosha is a safe haven for these mutants. So when it gets destroyed and then he gets bombed to something, I was saying, I'm not going to lie, when I saw my man's in his underwear, I said, what is happening here? And, Magneto, I guess what I'm trying to say is, Simon I was like, Magneto's really not a bad dude. He just now would I go the way of his action in this season? I'm not going to hold you. I felt no as a human being. I said eliminate us.
Yeah.
um, but I liked I liked Magneto. I think this episode, I mean, this season made me more understanding of Magneto.
Yeah, more
And
now more than ever, of course. Like
yeah,
that's what I was saying. His one-liners, like his dialogue, the messages he gave ever since I think like the second episode, he gave his little speech with the other terrorist group after they you know
yo, that line.
demoralized Storm with her powers, and he took them all up to the atmosphere, showing like, yo, I could literally drop you right now and end all of this, but I'm just trying my best. Like, said, do not make me let you down, both figuratively and literally, you know? Like, you know, and still more lines like that one girl, the one blonde chick, she says, they usually don't allow terrorists to become leaders. And he says, well, while they allow leaders to become terrorists. It's like,
no,
like,
that one touched my soul. That one hit me because if you really think about it, that goes with what's going on today in this world. So it's like he has a point.
That's a fucking bar. Like,
I wanted to use one here. I mean, I don't think this is any big significance, but there were some lines that he said that I like, and there's one of them is, "Why must you always defend our generic inferiors?" I felt like laughing when he said that, and then there was another one where he said about us being brothers. Xavier. He says, you know, we're like brothers. He said, do not presume us family. I said,
do not presume us family.
I'm sorry, and I know these are not like major bars here. I'm just saying, Magneto, when he spoke, I listened.
Yeah, you do listen. I think one of the better lines, quotes like that's been meme worthy with this episode, the previous episode, when you see Charles Xavier in space with his woman and whatnot, and the sister, her sister, calling our galaxy the Milky Way ghetto. I laughed.
Yo, when
the sister, it was a bird or something like that, right? I forgot her name, but carry on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it was.
You mean She-Ra? She-Ra or something?
Oh, okay.
She-Ra.
No, not She-Ra. Well, how similar to it. I really can't come up with the name right now, but yeah, she, like her. I think her and Frieza will get along so well. Like her and Frieza would just, ooh, buddies.
Their favorite word would be monkey.
Oh yeah. That's what she was low-key calling us. Monkey. She said we were simians, you know? Like,
word.
Cautious what they made sure they go. Because, you know, like, they say simians, what did you say? I'm sorry. Instead of saying monkeys, because I guess they were like, oh, that might be a little too, too. Let's go this route. So I just found that hilarious. I found that very, very hilarious. But yeah, no, they would. Matter of fact, I think Frieza would fall in love with her. You know,
they would. I feel like that they would got married.
Let's talk about Storm. I mean, I think Storm has an arc here too. I mean, she loses her powers.
Yeah, Storm
Forge, right? And and I thought the stuff that she went through. I mean, her trying to find her power, and then when she gets her power back, I mean, it was such a feel good moment when you see her flying in the sky again, and then she goes through get a different costume, and
how Stella got her groove back, huh?
There we go.
That's sad. But I love that scene. I love that scene a lot. I love that a lot because there was so much going on here. You know, just hugging her powers was right after Genosha got wrecked, and you see her, you know, going through what she's doing. Did you guys get creeped out by? There's so much stuff that we haven't touched. But was you guys creeped out by what was that, like an owl that was chasing her?
Yeah. It was like an owl bird creeping up on her, giving her a hug, talking all this about her past and all that. So you know what I'm saying? And then like the bird bit down on Ford's shoulder, poisoning him.
It was creepy at the very beginning when it came out. Like
it was.
There's an inner symbolism here. That was hers, her own and stuff. And yeah, like Forge managed to fix her powers. It was just her self-doubt and in a security that still kept it dormant until she got her groove back.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
still say Angela Bassett. They skipped out. They missed their chance with Angela Bassett being casted as.
Yeah.
Oh, she would have
They
been
missed a
fantastic.
big chance. They missed
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
she would have been great.
Yes. Yeah. Shout out to Angela Bassett. Yeah, she would have been
I
perfect
do
for
want
that
to
one.
give a shout out to Halle Berry for bringing the character alive, though. Like I
Yeah.
do hear what you're saying, though. She would have been fantastic. But you know what? I think Marvel knew that, and that's why they put her in Black Panther, because they said we got to have her in a Marvel movie, and I think she did a fantastic job.
They got to
As
put her in more roles.
I think that won't be happening in Marvel.
Oh, you don't know?
Yeah,
You don't know, Joe? In
What?
the
What?
movie? You didn't watch the second Black Panther movie?
you
No.
had to. You was with us. Oh, so
Oh,
you
yeah,
wasn't
wait.
paying attention. Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah,
was
yeah. I
there.
wasn't paying. Yeah, I did. I remember now. My bad.
I'm never taking.
Excuse me. Excuse me. My bad. My bad for having too much stuff on my head.
To take
I
off
gotta take
your
my
head.
thinking cap off.
Take off your head. He beat me to the joke. I'm so upset. But
Yeah.
I thought the stuff with her. Also, too, I do want to talk about. I mean, he didn't have a big part in here, but Bishop. And I thought it was cool that we got a few episodes with him. I also thought it was cool that we had more episodes with Cable. I got more familiar with Cable from the Marvel vs. Capcom games. And
Oh, yeah. Shout out to. Oh, sorry.
It's fine. And I would hear a lot. Oh, that's Cyclops' son. That's Cyclops' son. But I've never it was one of those things that I would hear, but I never could find any information or anything about it. And this I love that in this show that they were like, I mean, they made it clear that that's his son. So
Yeah.
I thought we were getting Cable, and Cable looked badass. I love the spot where Cyclops throw him one of the X-Men costumes, and he said, "What is this, a circus?" And he says, "Black Lover." Love that, because when I watched the first X-Men movie, and he said, "What do you want, yellow tights?" I said, "Yes."
Yeah. Yes.
Sorry.
That's a perfect callback. The perfect callback. And I really put it in a post before. It's like, I wonder how many people is gonna catch that. I wonder how many people is really gonna catch that. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, no, that was great. But what did you guys think about Cable?
Cable? Wonderful.
I mean, he's I don't know. I think he did what he had. Like, I know he was in the original series, right? And because my watching of the original series was so sporadic and random, that I know he was in it, but because I don't know what his role was back in the beginning, I would think like, did they not know or figure out that was their son back in the day? I guess he was just there. They helped out. He just didn't know who he was until now. So yeah, other than that, I don't know. I don't have any real thoughts about him besides him having to do what he tried to do 200 times, trying to stop Genosha. But
Yeah, 200 times. Oh boy.
I think Marvel just loved these big numbers, because what was in Infinity War? He said there was like
over 14 million outcomes. Yeah.
And then there was a spot in the episode, I think it was Sinister, or there was some other villain, said that, "Oh yeah, I killed thousands in at like a certain amount of seconds," and I did the math on it. It was like 77 minutes.
Nice.
And an hour, that's a long ass time for a massacre, honestly. That's a long ass time.
I'm trying to think if there's any other things. I mean, I feel like we talked about Magneto, but I did want to talk about Magneto a little bit, add more to it, because Magneto really was different in this show, right? So he wants to do everything Charles' way. He's doing everything his way. Once again, he gets tied up. And I'm laughing because when he's tied up, Magneto's like, if I did things my way, this would never happen. And so when the girl sets him free, and for whatever reason, Magneto's in his underwears. And he's in his underwears. So when the girl sets him free, this man declares war on Earth. So hold up. He declares war on Earth. But this man doesn't even take time to get some pants or anything. He flies to the coldest part of the world in his underwears to declare war because you know why? He is fed up. He says, I want it to be known right now. I am tired of this shit. He goes up there and he's in the Antarctic. Now, I don't know how magnetism and all that stuff work because I saw that. I got cold. This man went there, placed his feet on the earth, starts getting like, and here's the thing too. He's so annoyed, he's upset. He's saying cheek for a cheek. You gotta look at my cheek because I'm gonna kick your cheeks. He causes all kinds of so when he's doing this thing to take the energy from the earth, all around the world, you see like the White Samurai, you see Omega Red.
Yeah, Silver Samurai.
We see a boy Spider-Man. And I'm sitting there saying, guys,
Omega Red.
Don't tease us. Don't show Spider-Man. You know what to do, Marvel.
Yeah.
You know what to do, Marvel.
You see the success of this, Spider-Man 98. You know what I'm saying?
And we're going to talk about cameo. But Magneto taking...
I did not see Silver Samurai just standing there like...
Magneto declaring war in his underwears is a statement.
It's a power move.
Word. He wants to assert dominance.
I just wanted to talk about Magneto and his underwears.
Magneto just wanted to assert dominance.
I promise you,
dominance.
I promise you, it's a cosplay. You're gonna see it.
Yeah, you will. You will. I guarantee it. I guarantee somebody's gonna be in their underwear as Magneto. I'm calling it now. Me and Mo is calling it now. We're calling it now. Yep.
So. I was trying to find the picture, but I don't have it here. But I think the last thing really to speak about here, because I feel like we touched on every little thing here, but the last thing I would touch on is the cameos. We had a lot of cameos, and I thought this was so cool. What we got here, we had I have a few pictures here. I thought I had a big one. Okay, here we go, right here.
Oh yeah, Iron Man, Daredevil, Captain America, Black Panther,
I didn't realize because
Cloak and Dagger,
I did not know who those people were at all.
Scarlet Witch, and
We're missing Polaris. Polaris was there too with the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. She was there. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the cameos were cool. I thought it was really cool, and I also liked that they kept them in what they would look like in the 90s. I mean, look at Iron Man. I'm laughing at this Iron Man suit because he just looks so annoyed. But
that's what his mouth would not look like that. Like what?
No. Oh, you mean like now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No. 100%. And I think even Captain America, right? Because they got the wings. I feel like they have since removed the wings off his costume.
Well, it's more tapered to the side. Yeah. In the live action, anyway.
Yeah, no, because the wings looks kind of silly. Even in the movie, and I appreciate that they had that callback costume. I thought that was cool. But I was like, please don't wear that. But I thought the cameos were cool. And I mean, this is something I think that once again in the 90s they would have been doing stuff like this. They were doing crossovers like this. They were doing those things. I saw a funny meme, and it said Spider-Man in the Secret Wars. He picked the entire Fantastic Four, which was lame. I will sit here and say that. Matter of fact, real quick, we were talking about. I feel like we have someone. Hey, I don't want to give a shout out to the mayor.
Mayor Jack Pat is here.
What is going on? The strongest Roderick there is. Thank you for stopping by. I don't know if you've seen
Thank you, Roderick.
I don't know if you've seen X-Men, but please, if you have any comments, please just write it right here. We're getting ready to wrap it up, though. But please,
you know what, bad guy. What I should add on? I feel like remember the theme music that we did earlier, the X-Men one, right? I feel like that they should have at least introduced the Japanese version of it. Into the series.
I'm sorry. Who? I'm sorry. Repeat all
the Japanese version of the intro. They should. I think that they could have incorporate the theme music into the X-Men too, because I know Japan, they have their own theme music for the X-Men, and then like you know what I'm saying, and I love the Japanese version of the X-Men intro as well. You know, say so like if people haven't heard it, say just uh
YouTube.
go on YouTube
I
and
mean,
just
we're on
listen to
YouTube.
it. It's beautiful.
No, and
It's
I agree.
beautiful.
I mean, I listened to it a few times, so it'd be cool, and maybe they do that. Maybe they actually have that going on.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, no, that would be cool.
because
But
there's two. I believe there's two different Japanese X-Men intros. I believe so. Yeah. Mhm.
I what was I going to say? I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
My apologies.
No, I was going to talk about Morph real quick because I was talking about the Fantastic Four, right? And
Yeah.
we don't need them making that cartoon. It's nice that they're bringing them in the movie. That's cool, but we don't need a cartoon. Don't punish us. But I did want to sit here and say Morph because he did some really cool things that he could morph into. Well, his character could change, right? So at one point, he did the Hulk or Morph. Yeah, Morph turned into
Yeah.
the Hulk,
Yep.
and then another word changed into Mr. Fantastic. And I said, "Wow,
Yeah.
the well must be running low because who the hell wants to be Mr. Fantastic?
Did he
Nobody
turn?
wants to be
Did
Fantastic."
he turn into Jean Grey? I think, or like a female character when Wolverine was laying in bed and he was
Yeah.
like, "Well,
Oh,
like she can't say it, but I can say it for her. Oh, I love you."
yeah. I
Yeah.
thought I had a picture over here. I did not have that. But I do want to say here because I think it's important to mention because Maurice, you mentioned damn it, I'm mixing up here. But we talked about like this series was a reward for a lot of fans, and that scene where Magneto rips the metal out of
Yeah.
Wolverine, and that scene was really right out of the comics to the
Yeah.
point where they had the comparison. I thought that was such a, it was so good, so good. Someone said when Magneto rips Wolverine's metal, Cyclops in the corner like this.
Oh no. Ah, ah.
But all in all, let's wrap it up here, boys. The series was so great. I hope to do another series with you guys.
Calm
And
down.
yeah, no, it was a fantastic series. And I felt like for someone who did not watch the original series, I could watch it and I didn't feel lost. I think there was things
Yeah.
that I felt like there were certain things. Yeah, if I watched the series, I would have got this, but I never felt lost when I was watching it, and I appreciate that a lot on what the X-Men '97 did. So, Crazy Joe, what did you think about it? And then Apathy, give your thoughts, and we'll go home.
Well, hey, the original series, I love it. This series, I definitely love it. I can't wait for them to bring out more, and I expect more for it to come and to be even better. So I'm just sitting at the edge of my seat, just waiting. That's all. Bring it on to me. Bring it on to me.
Well, that's dangerous. You could fall.
No, I can't fall because I have the power of love. That's my superhero power.
Wow. Okay.
That's not how any of this works. That's not how physics work. But
Okay, and as for me, well, I was gonna go through like a little bit of a rating.
sure.
How would you? I don't know. See how you guys would rate the series overall. And I
Okay.
think with me, since it delivered on many aspects, it probably over delivered for like as far as my expectations because like because I was sort of kind of like in the middle spectrum of the original X-Men series, and they say they were bringing this back, and because well, it's part of the whole Marvel train, and might as well see what they do with it. I figured, yeah, I'll watch it in passing, yada yada. But after the very big first impressions of the first two episodes, and then going on and on, especially after episode 5, yeah, it met and exceeded certain expectations, and it kind of kept that momentum going. So if I was gonna give like most of the episodes between like an 8 and a
1 in
9
10.
individually,
Oh,
but episode 5 being the 10.
Yeah.
This whole series ultimately would be like a solid 9.5 out of 10 for me. The
I was
only
gonna say that. I was
the
gonna say that number. Yeah,
Yeah,
9.5.
only dip of it would be like episode 4 when it was about Jubilee in the video game and
Hmm.
whatnot. They do
That,
it is ridiculously seen as like maybe the lower end of the episodes, but still wasn't bad. I liked it, but still wasn't, as high a notch as the rest.
Yeah, I honestly was going to say 9.5. So, I agree with what, saying, Maurice said, 9.5, saying it ain't, saying, so I have no complaints about it, say, so 1 to 10 to 9.5. Yeah.
oh man, we're doing ratings here. All right. I thought the series was fantastic. It was a perfect no. Um, I would give it a 8.5. I mean, I'm glad that you mentioned that episode. I forgot. Honestly, I forgot about Jubilee, and I thought it was great that she got some screen time. Roberto kind of pissed me off, but he made it up at the end. I mean,
Uh-huh.
he pissed me off, but then I was like, not for nothing, his mother was kind of a jerk, So
Yeah.
I'm sorry that we didn't get a chance to talk about that. I wanted to talk about a lot of these characters and give them some screen time here, but I would give it an 8.5. I'll give it an 8.5 for one to be step outside the box, and two, when you mentioned that episode, and it wasn't horrible. I think a lot of people loved it because they were like, there was a callback to X-Men, and they were so excited. I was like, oh, cool. I guess I didn't get that call because I didn't get it. So that's why I spend my time on this podcast to not only entertain people, but also to try my stand-up. I'm your favorite sit-down comedian here. But I have to be because I'm the only one who's doing it. If someone does it, I'm suing them. But
Well, you
all in
do it
all,
well, though.
thank you.
You're welcome.
Joe, you're hired for Big Pop. You don't have to. You're already hired. There's nothing left to kiss. I love my friends here, but this was the X-Men 97 review. We hope that you guys enjoyed it. We hope that I hope to do more content with you guys, and I'll sit here and say this is the part where I give the floor to you guys. Is there anywhere that you want people to find you, social media, any kind of project, blah blah blah? We'll start with you, Crazy Jeff.
Well, y'all can find me on IG, Kamikaze730. I'm
No, they don't.
other than that, I'm just your typical human being. Just love to live life, and that's it. Thank you, Big Pop Theory, for allowing me on your show, and make sure that y'all follow Big Pop Theory podcast on all platforms available here. Thank you.
Whoa, 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 whoa! This the floor was for you. I do that here, sir. Do you want to get fired?
Well, I can't.
Do you want a job here?
Yes.
You're hired.
He was never even hired to begin with. Okay, wow.
No, he was, but now I want to say you're fired. It walked right into my dog trap or whatever that Yu-Gi-Oh. It's a Yu-Gi-Oh reference, everybody. You get it. Where can people find you, my friend?
Well, I mean, I'm not like a much of a content creator or anything like myself or do anything special, but I didn't even put the handle up on here, but you could pretty much find me. My handle is pretty much the same universally as Apathetic Prodigy, almost everywhere else, and I'm definitely just more of a meme lord on Facebook. So if you do follow me, you just be presented with a whole bunch of shit posting nonsense that are both smart and funny. So yeah.
And I agree. He does it well. So please follow him.
It really
Yeah.
is really a king of memes.
Yeah, shit posting 101. I love it.
You can follow me, bad guy underscore Jack on Twitter, Instagram. The Big Pop Theory podcast is a wrestling audio podcast, and you can listen to that on multiple platforms: Apple, Spotify. I don't think Google Podcast is a thing anymore. I think they stopped doing that. And a bunch of other places I just can't think of on top of my head. And also on YouTube here, we're trying to have more content here. We're trying to add a little bit more. So we do wrestling prediction. Today was a special one, and we wanted to talk about X-Men. And I'm going to talk to these gentlemen, and maybe we can continue to do stuff here to maybe review a series and all that stuff. So continue to follow the Big Pop Theory podcast, the Big Pop Theory podcast on Instagram, the Big Pop underscore on Twitter, the Big Pop Theory podcast on TikTok. And yeah, that's about it. So with that all said, gentlemen, I'm going to thank you guys for spending your Saturday with me and talking some X-Men, and um, let's do it again at some point. So with that
Let's
all said,
do it.
gentlemen, why don't we Magneto, do you pardon shot gonna be Magneto.
Enough.
You know, bro, he's fine. Listen, my parting words is once Magneto wears red, leave that man alone. I'm sorry. Once you see him in the
Oh no.
red, leave him alone. Charles,
Word.
Charles Xavier, I can't stand it. But with that said, this is the review. Thank you guys. Let me find a picture to end here. Yeah, we'll put this picture up. And we'll see you guys for the next stream. So, gentlemen, say goodbye.
Peace and
See
love.
you, see you guys till next time, man.
Word. Peace and love, y'all.